I wanted to be outside. But I just want to go over a few things, and then we'll take some questions after all. And first and foremost, I want to thank all the people that were involved. It's really an interesting thing when you step up and you speak from your heart, and you have to have such a, this 5-month battle. But it took a lot of people that committed a lot of time and energy for nothing. Tambusi and his staff and Chris Orlando, they didn't take a penny from this. They did because they believed in the mission. Obviously, family and friends that were so excited, and they got energized. They were ready to roll. I had people in the campaign here, Chris Walker, and Matt back here. They were great all the time. Matter of fact, you see Matt's kind of moving a little slow. I think it's because we walk too much. And Chris lost 10 pounds. And then my family, I talk a lot about my mother. I'm still in trouble because I've told her age so many times. And what's really interesting about this whole process, there are a lot of layers to it. But very few people called me about it last night, and which is kind of what I expected, because people know who I am. And they say, and the few that did, they emailed Chris there saying, oh, it's ridiculous, it's terrible. And I said, you know what? How many of you can walk and knock on thousands of doors and hear, gosh, over 1,000 people say, I was your classmate, I'm proud of you. When you represented the United States, I cheered for you. When you went to the New Jersey Hall of Fame, I said you deserved it. And then others that said, your father stopped me in class one day and said, excuse me, young man, do blah, 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 now I'm a principal. Or another woman said, your mother pushed me, and now my life is different. So really, the whole experience of the summer, when people are worried about all the political stuff and all the drama, I was knocking on doors and listening to those stories every day. So it just kind of went over my head. And when you're in the Olympics and you stand in a stadium ready to run the 100-meter dash, and you realize that if you make one mistake, that you're going to lose, and there are 100,000 people watching and 1 billion people on television, then you have pretty thick skin. So really, I did this all along because I realized it's something that I wanted to do, and like I said, it was an extension of my service. And what I learned along the way is that people had a pretty consistent message. Is number one, obviously we know people are hurting everywhere, and we know they want something different. They feel like they're not a part of the process because the process is a machine in this district, and a machine in a lot of places to them, a machine they can't manage. And we try to inspire them to say, yes, you can manage it. And I would tell them, what can you do? In November, we're going to have, people are going to elect all of the Senate and Assembly. And the strange thing about it is that we have less than 30% of the people in the state that actually vote. Why does anyone complain? My parents, my mother right here, more than 50 years ago, sat down and helped teach people how to pass the voters test so that people, African Americans, could vote and women could vote so they were not disenfranchised. And people died for that privilege. Young people all around the country that came from the north to the south or from the east to the west for that privilege. And now it's a simple privilege, and we don't take advantage of it. So I hope that what my campaign has done, it has inspired people to take advantage of that. When they see what goes on and the hypocrisy behind the room deals that get done just to win. Because, the great thing about this campaign was that it was very similar to sports for me. I knew some athletes that went out and worked hard every day. They became champions, or maybe they didn't, but they retired and their lives were better for it. And I know others that wanted to win at all costs, and I look at them later in life and they're not happy. So what's the point of being here? The point of being here is to serve and to be a part of people's lives and make their lives better. So our message of the day is service does not need a title. And so I will continue to do the things that I've always done. And one thing that I would hope that the district takes out of it isn't woe's me or we won or anything. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Because I was at the United Nations Wednesday, I'll be at a charity event Monday. My life moves on. It's busy and it's active. But what I hope that they realize is that if you really want change, you want to make a difference, that 20-something% goes to 50, 60%. And we have two wonderful candidates that are running for assembly that I was a very, very important part of selecting because I believe that they care about this district. So you're not going to get a chance to vote for me on the ballot, but you can actually vote for what I believe in. So the message shouldn't stop, the vision shouldn't change, the opportunity shouldn't be diverted, simply because they said, when you put Carl on the ballot, hoo-ha, we won. No, only people that win are the public when their taxes go down, when their kids' schools are better, when the communities are not losing, the seniors are not getting hurt, when women's services are not being cut. That's when we win. We didn't win yesterday. It's not about any of us, because we're going to be dead and gone in years to come, but so many people's lives are going to be affected in the future. So take this wonderful opportunity and keep this energy going and vote for these candidates. And I will say something. There's one thing I do agree with the governor. He talked the other day about, I'm paraphrasing, about people are in office too long. He's exactly right. In the 8th district, they have been. Except in the Senate case, because that's 2 appointments actually in a row, which is pretty amazing. But take that energy and use that energy and don't stop. Use it as a message to go out and make a change in your district, because ultimately you are the ones, the public is the ones that makes a difference. It's not me. You know, maybe I could be a voice for them, but the bottom line is that you're the ones that make the difference. So I'm not going anywhere through the Carl Lewis Foundation. I'm still going to be working hard. We're actually adding more schools that we're giving scholarships to. Work with Best Buddies. Still work with kids with intellectual disability. That's important with me. Now I have a better understanding of the education issues and things in the area, so I can get more involved in that. I'll definitely be involved politically. I'll go back to what I said before, issues, not office, because that's what I'm doing. But I'm not going away. You know, you think like, oh, we won, it's over. Yeah, no, we're not going away. Because service does not need a title. Service needs people who are dedicated, hard work, and willing to do what they think is right, and work with people that have the same values that most of Americans and most people in New Jersey have. So we're going to reach out to that large database of people that we met. I mean, we didn't knock on doors for no reason. And a lot of them were excited. We're going to keep that excitement, get them engaged in this campaign of our assembly candidates and the other candidates in the area, not just the assembly candidates, but freeholder, everything. And we're going to make sure that their voice can be heard, but they have to step to the plate with us. And I'll stay involved with not only with all of their campaigns, but also the issues that are important to New Jersey, and do the things that I've done and continue to stay busy and active like I've been in the past. So there's an old saying, you have a battle, but they might think they've won the battle, but they created a roar that's going to win the war. And so, are there any questions we have?
What's the, I guess when you sat down with Tam Lucy and company yesterday after the Third Circuit order came down?
I didn't.
You had no meetings with him at all? Did you even talk to him on the phone?
Well, he called me later and said he appreciated getting his name in Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
And I said, you forgot ESPN.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the deal, and publicity aside, did you take a look at the calendar, the fact that the ballots were being printed now without your name on them and all, and just said, you know what, I can't take this anymore?
Take what? The whole thing is that people made this whole thing about running for office, being a politician. And for me, and I've said it all along, it's never been about being a politician. What are you kidding me? I mean, I had the most amazing career in life. Look, I was born in Birmingham, Alabama, and my father was a friend and my parents or family were friends of those 4 girls that got bombed in the church. We moved to New Jersey, okay? And we came here, and I was raised from 2 years old all the way up to 17 when I graduated from high school. I went away to college, okay, and created my own career with a lot of help. I mean, if I had gone somewhere else, I wouldn't be sitting here, because without Coach Tom Tellez and without my parents' blessing letting me go there instead of keep me in the area like everyone else, then you wouldn't even know me. And then after that, I retired. I started my own foundation. I got involved in different organizations, with all kinds of things. And I just grew up in a family of service, and that's what I do. So I think about it, and as a parent, whoever you are, look at it. Your kid goes to school, he grows up, he graduates, he goes to college, he goes off, he has success, he starts his own business, he runs his own world. Then he comes back, he takes care of his mother, and he has his own health care, own business, the whole 9 yards, and then gives time back to his community. What, are you kidding me? So it's like, what else? What else do you do? And so I don't take any of that drama any more than that. And then on top of that, you got to be kidding me. I have 9 Olympic gold medals. I'm Olympian of the century. I'm a UN ambassador. I mean, come on. I never let that get out of perspective. And so and the thing that I said in the beginning was, the only way I lose this race is if I don't end it being the person I was when I came in, and I'm not going to change that now.
Carl, is there any way you'll run for Congress in 2012? Is there any way you'll challenge Diego again in 2013?
Well, first of all, we want to make sure that we get the candidates elected now. There's zero chance I'm running for Congress. I have absolutely no interest, not even that much. It's a wrap. And even with the discussion, I know that there was talk yesterday about the assembly. I think some people outside of our inner circle threw some of the press under the bus. Because there was no discussion, if someone was speaking out of turn. So if anyone felt like they were told something and they reported it, and I was throwing them under the bus, no, you were thrown under the bus. So I'll take that, because I've been very steadfast. I'm not trying to get a position. We had 2 good candidates. That's it. I said I'm represented, and it is what it is. So in terms of 2013, I have no idea what I'll be doing in 2013. And I'm not going to say that to saying, oh, my option on the table. Right now, we have to get candidates elected. If you had asked me April 4th, would I be running April 11th, I would have said, are you kidding me? So I have this old saying where I just say, I let the spirit move me. And right now, the spirit's telling me, who is it?
That's my phone.
I know, these are little, are they kids? Hold on. Hello? He's in the middle of a press conference. Can we call you back? Okay, no, who's calling? Okay, it's Kareem. Okay, Kareem. All right, we'll call you back in a few minutes. All right. Well, it's just going to keep ringing. So, yeah, that's really what it is. I just hope that everyone keeps it all in perspective and keep it back to the people. This has been a wonderful experience, the 5 months. The legal part of it really wasn't that big of a deal to me, because I did what I thought was right, and that's what I said I would do, and I'm going to continue to do that.
So would you encourage people to foster a write-in campaign for you? If there's that effort or interest out there?
No, I don't think, that's not what I would, everyone that would love to do that, I would love for them to go over and go to that assembly candidate, go to that surrogate candidate, go to that freeholder candidate. Take that energy there. Because you know what? That's where you can make the difference. Take that energy and take whether it's frustration or what you need, take it there, because it can be useful. And that's my wish to them. Take that energy, take it where it can be used and make a difference. And then even if that person doesn't win, which if we did have that energy, then they can win. But just take that energy and then make a difference in your community and use your vote as a voice.
So there's going to be no attempt to fill the spot for state senate?
Well, that's not my decision, honestly. But my focus is to make sure that we get the candidates that are running. But let's be real, they wanted it all along anyway, so they got what they wanted.
Is there anything about this whole process that would either encourage you or discourage you from considering running for political office again in the future?
I don't look at it that way. I look at it as a wonderful learning experience. There's a context that I've gotten out of this that I never would not have happened had I not run. So I look at it as not necessarily encouraging or discouraging me to run for office. I've been everywhere on earth. many times. I've met presidents and people and situations and everything all around the world. And you think when you're 50, and I can't even believe I said it, and I've had all these experiences, you're like, what can you do that you're actually going to learn something you never thought you'd learn? And this gave me a perspective of a lot of things in a positive way that I never would have had. So I'm not even looking at it from a political standpoint. I'm looking at it from what a joy it is to be at this age, at this time, to expand what I know and believe and understand about what's going on in areas that I didn't think I'd be involved in.
What do you expect you'll be doing politically over the next couple of weeks for other candidates?
Well, I'm sure I'll be walking, and they'll talk about that. I mean, I'm reaching my hand, and actually, 3 of the candidates are right here on the side. See all pretty ladies. We have a strong woman in our house. But whatever they need, whatever we do, because it's not about me, it's never been about me. It's about the district, it's about the people. So whatever they need, I'll support.
Do you expect you'll campaign outside the district at all for
Oh,
Democrats?
I'm sure. I'm sure. If people ask, and I believe in what they believe in their candidacy, absolutely.
I know you're keeping track of how many miles you walked from door to door this summer. Do you know what you got up to?
You know what? Chris could tell you.
I mean, over a certain number?
32 miles, was it? That's it? No, that's can't be way. We were up at 2 to 3 miles a time. We walked more than 10 times. It was up there. We'll get back to you.
Sounds good.
So Louis, what about the state constitution? Do you think the legislature should look at maybe reframing that, reworking it so there's more flexibility?
Monday morning quarterbacking, to me, let me put it in this context to answer that question or anything. When I went to the first Olympics, right, I was in 4 events, and I won the first event, 100 meters. At 7 p.m., we got our award at 8 p.m. We had drug testing. I got home at 10 o'clock, and I had to do the long jump at 10 in the morning. So I had to go to bed. I got home, ate dinner, went to bed, boom, boom, and put the medal in the cabinet and went to bed. And everyone's like, wow, when did you celebrate? I said, like a week later. So that's yesterday. It really doesn't matter. It's up to New Jersey. Now, if people in New Jersey feel they want difference, let them do it. You know, it's not about that. They made their choice, we move on. It really isn't. That's where I am.
So other than just campaigning or going out with candidates and supporting other candidates, is there anything else that you're going to be doing for the 2011 cycle specifically?
I mean, obviously, we had a short period of time. Well, I think the bigger thing is what I want to do, obviously, in the future. And coming in, I said education was very important. And I'd like to get the athletic program going back again, this time alone. And and just keep moving forward, you know. So to be honest, I'm not really sure, well, because it's been such a short period of time, and we have to put it all in the context of what's important to the candidate, because really it's not about me, it's about them and about the district. So if I'm sure they're going to strategize on what way I can help possibly, and then we'll move forward with that.
Mr. Lewis, do you ever think about maybe running for statewide office? Is so much of your brand, at least as it was perceived throughout these months, is a larger picture, maybe not as parochial as a district race.
Right.
Do you ever think about challenging Christie in
No.
2013?
No, because you know what? I love the coach. I love my relationship with Nike. I love my relationship with Hershey. I love going to the Bonacani event Monday night. I love going to the UN Wednesday. I don't want to give up the life that I enjoy. You know, at the state level, it allowed me and it afforded me to be involved in the process without interrupting and changing the things that I enjoy doing. So I could do it. I had an opportunity to do all of that. So no, that's not an interest for me.
Are you thinking about maybe restarting talks with Governor Christie about being the state's fitness ambassador?
Well, you know what? I think it's best to move forward, and I think that's one of the advantages of this campaign, because I think there'll be some people that would like to do it, and we probably won't need that. You know, I'd like to work with people that we can trust. Let's put it that way.
This question may have been asked when I stepped out of the room, Carl, if that's the case, I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
has there been any discussion between you and the Democratic Party about who you would like to see replace you on the ballot?
Yeah, you know what, there's been zero discussion about anything. You know, because yesterday, when I found out, we were building a shed in the yard, and we were finishing up the shed, so we didn't have time, because I wanted to get it in before it rained today. And so, no, and I haven't, and I'm not going to be involved in that discussion. It's not my issue.
Can you speculate on why the administration was fighting this candidacy so?
Well, there'll be no candidate. I mean, we have a candidate that was appointed, and essentially, and I totally respect the judge's ruling, and we move forward, that's fine, but it technically appointed again yesterday, so it's easy, like I've said all along, it's easy to win a race when there's no competition. You know, so I don't really know any other way to describe it.
I wonder, since your two now former Assembly candidate colleagues are here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the former. I was gonna say, wait a
Oh,
minute.
no, I'm saying former
Yeah, I'm the
colleagues.
former.
I understand that.
No, I'm saying it from my
Sure,
look at it.
sure. But let me just address this to you quickly, kind of dovetailing off my last question. Would you all like to see the Democratic Party appoint or go to court to try to put someone in that slot to run with you?
Personally, I would like to see someone for the voters to have a choice. But of course, this stands in Joe Andel's court. You know, he may be in the legal counsel makes that decision, but I do think voters should always have a choice.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And any comment from the party?
The party is reviewing its options at the moment. Obviously, this just happened yesterday, so we're consulting with legal counsel to see what our options are at the moment, whether we have time. Some ballots, I don't know, they were holding up ballots as of yesterday, but I'm assuming they all went to print as soon as the decision was made, so there's an issue of where the ballot stands in the process and the whole court issue, because obviously we would have to go back to court at this time, because the deadline was passed.
Mr. Andrew, when do you think you might have a firm decision made?
I'm hoping by the end of the weekend.
And who are potentially in the pipeline for that?
Well, we won't discuss any names at this time.
Carl, how disappointing is it that there's not a Democratic candidate in the Senate race?
Well, I think that's the real issue. It's been, you know, it was a choice. You know, when I walked all the time, the excitement came from people saying, gosh, we got someone to vote for, you know. And now, not just from a candidate that they feel like could win, but it's dynamic, that they knew, that they understood their values, because many of them, like I said, were taught by my parents, or went to class with me, or were on my soccer team. But now all of a sudden it goes from that exciting, wow, we've got this energy, to absolutely nothing. So I think that the issue is more about the system and, you know, where we are, and where politics is coming, the vitriol and the anger and all that. It's just about winning. And I think we've forgotten the word of service. It's just about winning for our own advancement or whatever it is. And I think that it's obviously not good for the public, but they do still have a choice to make a difference. And they'll have Senate candidates on the ballot in the future, and they have candidates on the ballot right now. They can actually make a difference right now in 47 or 8 or whatever it is stated.
Pardon my opinionating here, if I can for a moment, but I mean, I've covered politics for a long time. You're sounding as though this is the end of politics for Carlos, not service, not involvement in the community, but it sounds like you kind of soured on politics.
No.
Am I wrong?
No, you're totally wrong. I don't want you to take it away from me. You know, I have a saying, like I said earlier, to tell people all the time. I said, I let the Spirit move me. I let the Spirit move me into this, and I'm going to move from there. So I have so many things on the table that, for me to like say, this is what I'm going to do in 2 years is ridiculous. It really is. Like I said, I was at the Final Four game in Houston, Monday the 4th, or whatever the Monday was, Yeah, it was the 4th. And when I got a text message that John Adler passed away, that was the first time that whole week I thought about politics. And then 1 week later, I was announcing. So I'm that kind of person. I don't, you know, I definitely prepare and plan for things, but I just let my heart follow, you know, move ahead sometimes, and that's kind of how it is. So I don't really know. I could sit back and look at it, but and the main reason is because I have so many things going on. There's no reason to say, oh, stop, evaluate what you know. You know, actually, I still have charity events. I still have this. I've still got. So therefore, life moves on, and then how does it fit into it? That's what it is. So yeah, I'm actually glad you asked that question because no, I'm not. You know, and I think no more than the average person is of the way you know we're going back and forth. I think the average person is a little frustrated with politics. Period. But no, I would not take that out of it. Okay.
Carl, I heard a rumor you were considering writing a book or something about this experience. Are you considering that?
Oh, that's a very, very good chance, yeah. Because there's very,
What would the book be about specifically?
I'm gonna let the spirit move.
Translation hasn't found a publisher yet.
Yeah, I've written 2 already
There you
and written countless columns and articles and things. So, yeah, but I've been thinking that all along because I wanted to document the process. And my last Olympic year in 1996, I wrote a autobiographical. It was a diary that we published, and One More Victory Lap still available. And so, but we wrote this diary and self-published it so they could come out so quickly. But we did that, and so I was looking all along about doing something like that just to document this whole process because it was so different and something I never thought I would do.
Thank you.
Okay, but I just want to leave with one thing, and this is for everyone, and I'm talking to not only the media but to the public. You know, I knew a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, I knew a lot of people. I knew whether it was politicians. Of course, I know a lot of the present presidents. I've met Nelson Mandela, Jesse Owens, all these people. One person I want to leave, the last thing I want to say about this campaign from my perspective, is one person I knew was Ronald Reagan. You know, he was the president during the 1984, sorry about that, 1984 Olympic Games. And he looked in the camera at a debate one time, and we all know that, and he asked everyone, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Simple fact. And in New Jersey, that means that your taxes lower, your school's better, are your services better? Do you feel better served? Do you feel better represented? Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? If you are, then keep the status quo. But if you're not, that below 30% needs to change. And only you can change it. I can't, no one else can change it. The public can change it. So if your life is not better off, it's time to change and listen to the one thing I agree with. One of the things I agree with the governor about, people have been in too long.